So welcome back. We left off last time sharing how we evaluate and approach prep. I get a lot of questions about what lacquer we use, but honestly that doesn't matter as much as getting the prep right. With a high gloss finish, it's actually the prep that makes the difference. Before Avery makes her way into the booth, every surface has been sanded and bondoed where necessary. Cabinet doors and drawers have been sanded down to a 3 playing card depth to ensure they won't stick at final assembly. When we wrap drawers, we make sure to cover the dovetail detail and we drop the tape line to the inside of the drawer face. We don't want a hard painted edge right where the drawer enters the cabinet over and over. We are mindful of any contact areas that would be prone to chipping over time. Before the first coat of primer, on this piece in particular, we actually did a conversion varnish finish first. You can kind of see the shininess of that. This is essentially an insurance policy to prevent any tan and bleed during primer, color, or top coats. Our primer seals as well, but every now and then there is a piece that just doesn't want to play nice. Conversion varnish is a quick spray to seal it all in. The last thing before any doors are ready is a very thin needle syringe width of caulk to seal any seams. Finally, Avery is in the booth getting primed. Between coats, we evaluate if there are any cracks or scratches that haven't been filled by the primer or areas where stains might have bled through. So this is the body of Avery after first prime. Cheyenne has used a glazing putty to fill any of the little gaps, the nicks and the cuts that might actually show through. There's a really good one. We want to make sure that that's hidden, and sometimes the first prime doesn't actually fill it. And then over here, she's also sanding it down so it's in pretty perfectly smooth condition before we move on to the second prime. We try to get it done in 2 primer coats, but depending upon how much grain there is, it sometimes takes 3. What does it look like when it's ready for color? Ideally, it's a clean final coat that just needs to be sanded flat. How many coats of color does it take? Every piece is different, but our goal is 2. That means there's only 1 chance between those 2 coats to touch up any surface scratches that are still visible. So during the sanding process between coats, we need to ask ourselves, is it as good as we can get it? Are there any fatal flaws that we might have to live with at this stage? At a certain point, you have to cut your losses. If there is a flaw that refuses to give in, we have to make a call. Once on a set of nightstands I do not want to remember, after 6 or 8 layers of primer, color, and top coat, we did have a stain bleed through. We think maybe there was candle wax or oil or lotion or something embedded in the wood. Ultimately, this had to be sanded back down and done again. While Avery is getting her new coat, we have the opportunity to work on her accessories. First, we boil the hardware to remove any old lacquer. We use a variety of products, including a rust remover, then polish it with Barkeeper's Friend and/or Brasso, and then finally spray it again with a brass lacquer to inhibit any future tarnish. After the final top coat, we wait about a week for it to fully cure before we start to buff. During the buffing process, water is introduced, so we want to make sure that the chemical cross-linking process is actually complete. At this stage, Avery can see the finish line. She's almost ready for assembly, so stay tuned for Act 3 and Avery's big debut.